Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video has a decent bit of tech behind it, but in practice is incredibly simple to use. I asked myself, why is it that so many of my uploads lately are more camping oriented? I really don't know, as outside of complete meme showcases, I prefer to run and gun. But this setup is not a meme and easily shreds everything up to 2 hours steel path survival range instantly, which is roughly level 500 or so at 110 to 120 kpm. I assume it is possible to go higher, though do keep in mind this is a health tanking build and would at some point require adjustments to do so. Today's showcase in theory crafting comes courtesy of some cool people from the Quasar's clan. You can thank them for the funny strats we're looking at. So let's get a full breakdown on what's going on here, shall we? How are we applying DPS? This one is clear. Enemies afflicted with electric procs will chain to nearby enemies for damage. There is a non-obvious chaining limit, but this doesn't matter as anything chained dies instantly regardless, and there's a practical limit to how many enemies we can pull at once today. More importantly, the amount of damage the electric chains deal scales from the original target with the status. As you can see, our target has well over 500 stacks of electric at any given moment. Therefore, massive electric chaining DPS resulting in millions of damage. We even shoot the head for 3 times scaling and bigger procs. So this brings us into our next question. Why Trinity and Well of Life? Trinity's main benefit here beyond Well of Life DPS is ease of use. Blessing gives you damage reduction. It also fully resets Shield Gate and full heals, which are 2 amazing bonuses for a health tanking build. Blessing's damage reduction is stacked with Lincoln adaptation as well, resulting in practice around 98% damage reduction overall. This is way more than enough for up to level 500 because we also have crowd control from Meg's pull and Well of Life inflicting 1.5% lifesteal. This is always active since we're literally camping our well radius at all times. For Well of Life, it is both our DPS enabler and more utility. The target becomes fully invincible, but is still capable of receiving all damage as a stored value. This is similar to how Blood Altar works, which I showcased in my recent Infinite DPS Loop Kullervo video. If you want to see how else we can use invincible targets to nuke maps, do feel free to check that video out at the top right. Today, all this stacked damage also scales into the electric procs created on our Well of Life target. While they cannot receive said damage directly, they are fully capable of exhibiting the status effects. This means we have effectively turned our invincible enemy into a lightning rod that spreads chain lightning off 500 stacks to anything within the shock radius of the status effect. On top of this, because both Link and Well of Life can block status effects, so long as at least one of them is active, we are completely immune to pesky statuses, removing the need for Prime Sure-Footed or Rolling Guard. We now have damage reduction, lifesteal, AoE DPS, and crowd control as well as grouping from pull. The last problem to address is energy economy. Pool of Life is an augment for Well of Life that guarantees 4 health orbs on death from marked targets, as well as 100% chance of 1 energy orb. Because we can pick our Well of Life targets and it is easy to kill them and health orbs were buffed to base 50 health always, each marked enemy is worth an extra 245 energy. This is on top of natural drop rates of fodder and mission, and unlike Energize, which has a 15 seconds cooldown per activation, you can prematurely deactivate Well of Life before the 18 seconds duration of this build to get 245 energy back even sooner. Now that you understand how this Trinity build works, let's see our build. This Trinity uses 1 strength Archon shard optionally to reliably hit 167 strength with growing power active. While not mandatory, allows our abating Link to 100% strip targets. This is most useful for if you have some super tanky heavy unit being the sole survivor of enemy groups that you pull towards your Well of Life. The only remaining survivors will be tethered by abating Link and remove all of their armor, priming for instant death on the next electric chain tick from the well. Pool of Life is superior to Arcane Energize, and Arcane Blessing is superior to Vitality, while being overall cheaper to invest for. If you cannot use Archon Shards, you can replace Cunning Drift for Power Drift. Range is extremely important on this build, because it determines the maximum distance you can pull enemies. Because pull requires a line of sight and this build is intended for full-on face tank, I would recommend a medium-sized room with as open area in front of you as possible for enemy pathing. This allows multiple paths for enemies to converge, letting you pull as many enemies in from as many entrances as possible at once, for maximum KPM. Equilibrium is required for Pool of Life to adequately replace Arcane Energize, and should be paired with any energy generating companion for even more comfort. Do keep in mind the Dagath updates companion changes that significantly expands viable options. For a full breakdown on energy generating companions, and all things companion rework post update, check out my video at the top right. If you want a slot rolling guard or natural talent, I would recommend dropping Primed Flow for blue energy max shards. For usage tips, do not use Magus Lockdown near the Well of Life target. It lifts them in the air way higher and makes it annoying to hit, as well as breaking their interaction with Pull unless you jump up. Yes, Pull can drag the Well of Life around, so you don't need to worry on perfect well placement. It will readjust automatically for you to be in front as you pull groups to DPS. Cast Blessing before Link always when resetting rotations to prevent both from running out at the same time. Bless lasts slightly longer, and you always want at least one damage reduction ability active at all times. Shooting the head of the well target when possible will increase your damage obviously, but this means you also have a choice between Merciless on your weapon for ease of stacking or Deadhead for the bonus headshot multiplier. Do what you want, just keep in mind Deadhead requires headshot raw damage kills, so you will have to headshot kill one fodder at least once every 24 seconds to keep it up. Panzer is still the main recommended companion for ease of use, especially pre-Dagath update due to infinite lives, a viral spread for damage boosts, and Pedicess and come for Martyr health gate failsafes. There is a hitbox problem with the chaining enemies mid-ragdoll when they themselves are not receiving electric procs, so don't spam pull too much. Pull, let them drop, and stand beside the well and die. The hitbox mechanics of the engine for this are rather complicated to explain, so Lightning Rod DPS is different than how Ambassador applies DPS. Just let them stand and let the well do its job. Focus schools are very free, but Xeneric is lightly recommended because 1. It allows you to get the build going at the start despite only 45 efficiency, without needing to wait out energy pads, and 2. Has an operator ability to increase headshot damage scaling on the well target, which is perfect since it doesn't move and is easy to hit above the crowd. This combined with Pool of Life Augment basically gives you infinite energy on demand. Let's take a look at the weapon builds used next. We are using the Vandal family of beam weapons because 1. They are pure electric and we are not building viral because the damage is already so high. So this lets us keep 100% electric weight to stack procs as fast as possible. 2. Quanta Vandal is also a status-based beam with 22% crit and 45% status by default, making it easy to build stacks, and if you have access to ribbons, it will perform better due to having a 5-dot disposition. Today, we're going to be going the ribbonless route. And 3. Multishot double dips on beam weapons for natural status procs. This is due to unique beam logic and basically can be summed up to squaring your multishot value. Instead of increasing damage instances present, Multishot for beams just multiplies the pre-existing damage instances on beams already present. However, it also multiplies the value of resulting status procs by Multishot again, essentially double dipping just like how Banes do. Do keep in mind that Multishot and Banes, while double dipping for dot builds on beams, are still separate multipliers, and will remain multiplicative to each other and not additive. This means the best possible stat on a ribbon will always be Multishot for this kind of setup. We have chosen to not use Galvanized Aptitude today. It brings plus 80% status stacking, and because we are dealing pure electric damage, only plus 80% damage or plus 160% a Panzer manages to stack viral on the tower. This makes it arguably the weakest mod on the build when weapon arcanes are part of the picture. Therefore, if you want to upkeep maximal DPS even through blessing recasts, which are two-handed, reloads, and stacking even higher to 800 electric procs, you can slot Continuous Misery. This extends electric procs to last for 12 seconds instead of 6, so now you have the damage scaling of 800 procs instead of 500. You will still get enough kills and ammo drops for Vigilante supplies to fund ammo conversion at just 30% ratio, while also small crit bumps for the set bonus. I opted for Merciless for Braindead Arcane stacking, but Deadhead, at the cost of needing to headshot fodder kills every 24 seconds, does have a higher DPS ceiling when aiming at the Well of Life head. The only problem on the setup are Acolytes, because the entire build hinges on massive electric proc chaining. Not only do Acolytes have their own status cap, but any damage originating from statuses, be it on them or from nearby enemies, are further reduced due to how their damage attenuation works. There are ways around the status problem, but we don't have that on the loadout today. Therefore, use your pistol and melee slot to bring something to deal with them. It can be literally anything you want, so long as it works. I'm using a Glaive Prime, but even a simple Nucor Primer with a generic DPS melee with Condition Overload will work. If you're interested in my Glaive Prime build I use in this video, it's the same as always like this. Prime Fury for utility, it does not noticeably help DPS. If you want even more DPS, use Power Throw in this slot and spam chained throws against them. The build is rather simple to use. Find a camping spot with open sightlines, have Blessing and Link active, cast Pull to drag enemies over, cast Well of Life on something in the clump. Spam your Quanta at its head and occasionally cast Pull every few seconds. Profits. Recast Blessing and Link as needed, making sure at least one is active for their 75% damage reduction at all times. Aim at the head of the Lightning Rod for bonus damage. Keep in mind, Pull is one-handed cast, and you can keep holding down mouse 1 on your well as you cast Pull to continue DPSing. Don't worry about perfect well placement, as Pull will fix it for you each time you cast. Do not use the lockdowns near the well, use your pistol and melee to blow up Acolytes when they spawn. Cheers! If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like or better yet, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I'm trying my best to get new information out always as soon as possible. Like we did with the Duviri update, the Companion rework, and prior to the upcoming Dagath update. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis. Don't miss out on any of that, do you? And that'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching and see you all next time.